All right. Listen, everybody, last time on the show, we went, got a little heavy talking about the Philando Castile both verdict, but also the subsequent release of the tape of his killing and of the detention, I don't want to say arrest, but detention of his fiance along with her 4-year-old daughter in the car. We got a lot of voicemails and a lot of emails about it, and I want to get to some of them before we start the show. The first I want to get out of the way, I shouldn't say get out of the way, but the first I want to address was unexpected for me. But the person who called, he gave a perspective that first I don't fully agree with, but I do understand, and I think it's important to get another side, another vantage point all the time. So without further ado, let's get to Ethan's call from New York City.
Hey, Dollemore. This is Ethan calling from Harlem, New York. Just got finished listening to your show about the Philando Castile. Okay. I don't even know where to start with this, but saying that, outrage over more of my people getting killed by the cops or getting harassed by the cops. Do you realize that it's only white people, yourself included, who sit there and say this is un-American? Only white people that says that this is an epidemic. You cannot name one time in American history, since we were brought here as slaves, where the police actually protected us, where it was their job to not kill us, not to harass us. I mean, hell, back in the 50s and 60s, we got video of them sicking their dogs on us, hosing us down with fire hoses, when all we wanted to do was march just to learn how to read. Okay, this is not an epidemic. This is not un-American. This is very American. America was born on this. America has always been run this way. This is American. And I'm sick and tired of people saying it's un-American when you cannot name a time in American history where we were seen as equals, where we were seen as people. They had laws basically saying that we were 3/5 of a human being. This is what the cops have always, have always done to us. Always. So, stop! Only white people are saying this. So, I mean, and it's not like anybody's ever going to do anything about it. No one can do anything about it. I don't know how I'm going to fit everything I want to say in 3 minutes, but I mean, does it need to stop? Yes, but is it going to stop? No. I mean, come on. America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, 99% of things that he did, every time somebody got killed in New York, I support my cops. A man got a broomstick shoved up his ass in New York by the cops. I support my cops. They unloaded 41 bullets inside of a man and reloaded by witness accounts. I support my cops. This is American. Okay? Please stop it with the outrage over these shit. And I don't even know why the hell my people are even marching anymore. Who the hell are we marching to? Who's listening to us? All we're going to do is just make a big crowd of people and everybody's going to go back to doing, okay, the black people are done marching, so let's go back to business as usual. This is America. This is what America has always been. And whenever somebody black speaks out, oh, you're playing the race card again. Or, when are you going to get off? Stop living in the past. Why are you black people always bringing this stuff up? This is what America has always been. No one wants to hear our plight. No one wants to hear what we are.
And he was cut off. However, he did call back, and he left a kind of a summation. And this part 2 of this is edited. It's I think less than a minute, but it's edited because I just took everything out that summarized what he said there, and I wanted to not leave him on his screaming. I wanted to give him the benefit of getting almost everything that he set out. I think Ethan would agree that in the next call that I'm going to play, the content is not, or the spirit of what he's saying wasn't edited, although it is for time edited.
Okay, it's Ethan in Harlem again. I got cut off. but I had to step away for a second because before I started to get preachy. Anyway, like I was saying, this is, what's going on with the cops and my people. This is American. This has always been American. It's never been any different. It's always been this way. Okay, long story short, please stop saying it's un-American. I love your show. I watch you on YouTube all the time. Just stop saying it's un-American. All right? This shouldn't be surprising to anybody that black people get harassed by the cops.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Ethan for calling in. This kind of disagreement, passionate disagreement, is the lifeblood of not only the conversation, having a conversation, a robust disagreement, but also the show. This embodies what I want for this program.
For sure.
And now to address, because I don't agree. Well, first of all, I can only take a stab at trying to understand what you go through, Ethan. What your people, what African Americans, what black Americans in this country go through. I have no idea, because I'm white. I don't claim to have some special magic empathy power. I can only try. And when I talk about un-American, I talk about the America that we should be, the America that some of our documents claim we are. Equal justice under the law. All men are created equal. Those types of ideals that we strive toward. No nation created by white men has a blemish-free history. Not a single one. And we have had horrible, genocidal moments in America's history. To claim otherwise is disingenuous, and that's not who I am. I don't even believe that. We have our problems. However, I don't share your brand of pessimism, Ethan. That why are we even marching anymore? Why do we struggle and toil toward a better moment in American history? I want to be delicate. I want to be a dick to you. But if those who labored to end slavery, to free themselves from the literal shackles of bondage, if they had shared your attitude, who knows how long slavery would have lasted longer. If those who wanted voting rights had had your attitude, who knows how long it would have taken for black men and then eventually black women to get the vote. How long would it have taken longer for the Civil Rights Act to happen if there weren't men like Martin Luther King to march and protest? So I don't share your flavor of pessimism. And then as far as white people saying the thing about it's un-American. It's undeniable that we have a system of white supremacy in this country. White people are in charge. That is an unfortunate reality. So until that's not the case, you're going to need white allies. So whether you like it or not, you got me. I'm what you got. This flawed character here is your ally, and I'm going to continue saying things that I hope resonate with white fucking people. Because when I scream and yell, it's not for the benefit of black people. I know they agree with me. I'm not trying to preach to the choir. I'm trying to change the hearts and minds of people to make a change. Change some minds. And as far as the pessimism is concerned, going back to that, it seems to me that, look, we cannot change what happened. What took place is history. It is a fact. However, we can look forward to the future and change what happens. And it is through action, through civil disobedience, through political organization and marches and rallies and conversations like this that we can do so.
I wanted to let you go.
Thank you.
But I also, I hope that many people are able to hear Ethan's voicemail.
Yeah.
Because I think that he makes a very good point. And I think you can also hear the pain in his voice and that he feels very demoralized. This is demoralizing, right? And it's hard because he's in it and he's going through it, you know? So it's hard for us as white people to say, well, don't lose the faith, don't lose the hope, you know?
Sure.
But I don't have anything good to say. I feel for him, and
well, I hope I didn't come across.
It's only I think liberals who say it's un-American, and I think it is because of what you were saying, that they're trying to emphasize human rights, right? And that should be what we strive for in this country. And I don't hear conservatives saying it's un-American,
right?
Because I generally, like Ethan was saying, think that they say I support my police, right? Blue lives matter.
Yeah.
So I don't hear that talking point coming from that side. If I did, I would think that saying that phrase means something else. But I think generally it is meant in a positive way to shed light on what we want America to be, an emphasis on human rights, and that this is infringing on people's right to just exist.
Yeah. I hope I didn't come across like I was in total disregarding his point.
I don't think so.
Because I'm not disregarding it. It's a valid point. I understand it. I'm a silver lining guy. I'm striving to make America what it should be, not what it was set up as. Because clearly we had problems in the beginning. Slavery is a fucking scourge. It's a problem that it was allowed in the formation of our union to be a thing. That inequality was woven into the fabric of America. The infrastructure of our country was built upon the backs of slaves. Free labor is how we became the strongest, most powerful nation on the planet. And that's a bummer. So listen, look, I love you, Ethan. I appreciate you. I think that your point it's well taken, and I hope it's well received by the audience. I don't mind being disagreed with. I don't mind being chastised. That's all part of the conversation.
Well, and it's a good thing, too, because you need different viewpoints, right? We don't just want to sit here and talk to each other.
Yeah.
That's why we play voicemails and read emails and play voice memos, and why we say, hey, send in your thoughts, because we want to hear them, especially when they are as awesome as Ethan's.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, I certainly want to avoid sitting around jerking each other off, because that's not going to get anything goddamn done.
No, of course, and even with the fired up, even with the getting a little
right
angry,
on.
It's justified.
This is the type we need out there marching. I really hope you'll reconsider that, Ethan, because your fire, your passion, the aggressiveness that you show, it comes through as honesty. Mm-hmm. And we need people like you out there organizing, getting involved. Because
a powerful leader.
People who are moderates, they're hard to fire up. It's like, oh, yeah, you don't take or leave it. You're not that guy. So thank you for the call. We appreciate it very much. All right, let's move on to our next.
Hi, Jesse. Hi, Brittany. My name is Rainer Jones. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been listening to you guys for a while. Probably the first episode I listened to was 216. I honestly love you guys a lot. You guys best show I listen to, from, you know, coming from like listening to talk radio as a child and just wanting something more real and something personable and something that, you know what I mean, just tells the real story. With all the climate of, you know, the police and everything, me being my mom white and my dad black, but either way, by default I get looked at as a black man. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I've, you know, get pulled over or something happens, yes sir, no sir. And, you know what I mean, I've had, you know, been treated very fairly. But, you know, still, it's hard because I don't feel safe with police. If I see a cop, I automatically think, am I doing something wrong? Is there something that he's going to think I'm doing something wrong? And it's just a fear that I guess has been embedded with me for a long time. I mean, just from the beginning. I don't even want to get in deep on the case because the case is ridiculous. I just got done listening to 314, and I mean, I don't know. It's just it's hard, and I guess it's really good that things are changing, and, you know, people are even being accused and charged, even though there's no conviction and this doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I don't know. I just hope it gets better. I will say though that on a lighter note, if Trump didn't win, like if Hillary would have won, I don't think the show would be as fun as it is. But I guess you know, that's here nor there. But all right, thank you. I really appreciate you guys on the show.
Well, thank you, Rainer. We appreciate it very much. That's the next step in this, is one, to secure more indictments of these police who act outside of the scope of their job and kill innocent citizens, is to secure those indictments more often, because even that is a battle. That is an obstacle in and of itself, and it shouldn't be. And then I think we should be focusing on convictions for sure. But this isn't a problem that's just a flip of a switch. This is changing the culture in our country, opening the eyes of people. And that's why I'm talking about not preaching to the choir. We need people to hear voicemails like Ethan's and to hear the collective groan, the disheartened nature of a massive faction of America who is almost ready to throw their hands up.
Well, and with each one of these cases, I think there is a process of converting people.
Yeah, I think so too.
And to at least judging on a case-by-case basis rather than Blue Lives Matter. No, well,
right.
I'm going to evaluate and see what happened here and actually approach it with an open mind, right? I mean, it's a slow process, slower than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But it's slowly happening. And we actually have an email that kind of goes along with this theme. It's from Aaron. He says, I want to comment on the recent developments in the Philando Castile case. I have been a law enforcement officer for almost 20 years, but after listening to these tapes, I can no longer give the benefit of the doubt to the officer by default in such cases. This was one of those cases where I thought there was probably more to the story and that the cop would be vindicated when these tapes came out. I was wrong. Those of us in this line of work must take responsibility for our words and actions and understand how they are perceived by those with whom we interact. It's almost as though I can see the wheels turning in Mr. Castile's head. Saying something like, he asked for my ID. I need to get it out of my wallet. He also told me not to reach for my gun. I must assure him that I am not reaching for it while I get my wallet. That is a perfectly reasonable interpretation of the officer's commands. It is the officer's terrible panic and inability to see this that cost this poor man his life. Something has to be done, and following through legally on this case would have been a step in the right direction. Apparently, we not only have a problem with our police, but maybe equally as serious of a problem in the court system. I have been doing this job for a long time and have a lot of experience testifying in court. I can't for the life of me understand how this acquittal happened. So torn up about this. Thanks for listening, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. And I agree with that. I think that's also part of the next step, is getting law enforcement people, career people, people who are on the job to start standing up and saying something. Because this is, when you get people on CNN who are career law enforcement people who defend, no matter what. And their justification always is, well, the cop would have lost his life. What about the fucking citizen? The cop pledges to protect and serve. The citizen has made no such pledge. Until such time as the good cops start acting like good cops, we're going to face down these kinds of problems more and more, or just as often. All right, next voicemail.
Hi, my name is Patrice. I'm from New Jersey. And I just wanted to chime in on Philando, Castile, and the whole Black Lives Matter and things of that nature. I'm 35, so I'll be 35 in July. I have a 14-year-old son who will be 14 the day after I turn 21. And I am fearful for his life. He is a well-respected, young African-American male. I come from a family of law enforcement, and it saddens me. It really, really saddens me. I look at the video and from the dash cam and I tear. I look at the video from the little girl and I tear. And my son is about to go to high school next year, and he goes to a school where it is predominantly Caucasian. And the school has been in the news, in the local news, for some racial undertones and racial things. And that's one of the schools, if you're black in South Jersey, you kind of don't want to go to them. My son is going to go to that school. And I'm scared for his life. He is a good kid. He is a loved kid. And I just don't know when all this stuff is going to stop. And I just can't wait until one day I don't have to worry about him. I don't have to worry about him putting his hands up or not putting his hands up, or driving when he's supposed to or not driving when he's supposed to. And I just want it to stop. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
This is something that's frustrating about reading the comments online in response to this case, which is people don't understand what the black community goes through in terms of dealing with the police.
Right.
And how they have to talk to their kids about how to deal with the police. And it's always, well, they should have listened, right? They should have just followed the commands.
Right.
Number one, he did that.
And oftentimes that's the case. They do follow commands.
And number two, when a white person doesn't listen to the police, are they killed all the time? They get shot. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Or should that even be the expectation? You don't listen to a cop and then you die, and that's what should have happened because you didn't listen to the agent of the state that is stopping you for a taillight.
There was a recording, iPhone recording out of El Centro, California last year, where the man had stolen a car and then ran from police and was subsequently just fucking beat down by several cops. And I posted it to the Facebook page, and there were a lot of comments on there about, well, he shouldn't have ran. He shouldn't have stole a car. That offense, cops are not the punishers.
Right.
They are not, they don't mete out punishment.
Mm-hmm.
They are there to arrest. It is the court and the justice system that is part of that next step of punishment. And punishment isn't, okay, well, we're going to have 5 cops sit around you with billy clubs and beat the fuck out of you. That's not part of the American judicial system.
Right.
So, well, listen, there's also something that needs to be said about, and you've been talking about this, is that why was there violence during a traffic stop for ostensibly a malfunctioning brake light?
Well, I listened to a libertarian podcast, and just to get, different viewpoints and not stay in my echo chamber. And one of the things they brought up about this case was that having armed agents of the state stop people for something as simple as a broken taillight should maybe not be a thing.
Yeah.
And that maybe that's also a conversation that should be had about armed people stopping you for a broken taillight. I mean, that just seems like it's entering a weapon into a situation that is unnecessary,
Right.
maybe.
Are parking meter maids, are they going to have guns next? What's next? Who else needs guns in the course of their duties as agents of the state?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. And of course, people would say, well, you never know what you're dealing with. You know, a cop doesn't know what they're going to be dealing with when they walk up to a car door. So that's why they have a gun. They need to be able to protect themselves.
Well, you could say the same of building inspectors. They don't know what kind of people they deal with when they go to check the foundation.
Well, not only that, you have citizens who don't know what they're dealing with
That is
when a
exactly
cop is
right.
walking up to their car.
Yeah.
So does that mean that all citizens should be armed? That we should just all be ready to get into a gunfight because we don't know who's going to be approaching us? I mean, how far does this need to go?
Right.
And why are we giving the default position to the police who are so often abusing their power? It just seems strange.
It even goes beyond, and unfortunately it does, but it goes beyond even abuse of power. It goes to incompetence on the job. I think it was more incompetence on the job with Geronimo Yanez than it was abuse of power.
Well, how quick was he to grab his gun?
Right.
How quick was he to put his hand on his gun to get ready to use it?
It is...
Because you keep that in your holster,
Right.
buckled,
That's
until
right.
you are ready to use
Right.
it. Isn't that what they tell you?
Yeah. And then, well, the other thing is not only that, but both Philando Castile and Diamond Reynolds both had time to say he's not reaching for it. Multiple times it was said by each person, I'm not reaching for it. He's not reaching for it. Boom, 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 boom. 5 rounds pumped into him, 2 into his heart, 2 missed. Because even at point blank range, he was derelict in his duties. We have a problem with policing in this country. I don't know whether it stems from this want to be soldiers of fucking fortune attitude, where they wear their fatigues and they drive their military equipment and they get trained in small unit tactics like they're military, or whether we're getting broken men and women from the military who haven't dealt with their anger and their aggression and all too often their post-traumatic stress. But a new day needs to fucking dawn in America relative to the people we put in charge and in power over the citizenry.
So we have another email to read.
All right.
This email is from Kai. Hey, Jesse and Brittany, I've been listening to the show for about a year and am thankful to have found you guys. I was recently listening to episode 314 and had to stop when you got to the conversation about the Philando Castile verdict. I hadn't watched the video of the daughter and girlfriend in the back of the cop car until you played it. I almost broke down. It was so sad to hear a 5-year-old try and make sense of a senseless killing. I am a 20-year-old, 6-foot-tall, 185-pound black male. I'm not telling you these details so you guys can get to know me better. I'm telling you this because I am the usual suspect. Every time I hear the recording or see the video of an interaction between black men and police, I only imagine myself. I always fit the description. I am about 1.5 years younger than Trayvon Martin. So when that tragedy happened, I stared into the eyes of a teenager that looked like me. Since then, I have found parts of myself in each unfortunate victim. It's so sad, not only because of the tragedy, that is, the senseless loss of life, but the fact that many people can begin to predict what will happen next. There is a killing of a black male or female, the same talking heads flood Fox News, people try and protest to no real avail, and the part that hurts the most is that 9 out of 10 times the cop isn't charged. If they are, they will still walk away free, except for a few rarities. It leaves myself and those around me questioning what it is that we as black people can do. We speak to cops, we're shot. We run away, we're shot. We wear a hoodie, we're shot. We play in a park by ourselves, we're shot. I don't want to become desensitized to the subject, but it happens so much and so little is ever done, you get to the point where it becomes almost normalized. I don't even like to approach, speak to, or interact with cops now. Not because I'm doing something illegal, just because I need no reason to be mistaken as hostile, violent, or a thug, or any other terms used to sweep injustice under the rug. I'm sorry about the brain dump. I knew I couldn't fit this into 3 minutes of audio. I would have ended up just getting angry and yelling into the phone. Love the show, guys. Keep it up. Jesse, the photo gallery is priceless and part of the reason why you are the best part. And then he said, sorry, not sorry, Brittany. Okay, maybe a little.
I think he's talking about on the Facebook page where there's like, I was dicking around with the different plugins because I'm not a web guy and I put some Facebook something or other anyway. Whatever. So thank you for the email. And listen, we wanted to give as much time here to as many viewpoints. And like I said, this all goes to, if you're white out there and you're listening, hear what is being said here. It is important. It should add gravity to the importance of what we're talking about here. Because I'll never know what it's like. I can only empathize, and it is through stories. It is through experiences. It is through communication like this that I learn a little bit more. I'm able to empathize just a little bit more, and I appreciate all of it very much.